is Mary Catherine Mihak. I'm with Mihak Kelly and Associates, and I'm joined tonight by Leandra Coriel Ferguson, who is with Think Design, and they're our partners on the project for Montague, the recreation feasibility study. So tonight, I think we have 2 hours. We have a lot of people online. I appreciate you all taking the time to join us. And I just want to make sure that I took the names from the the invitation list. Just want to run through them and make sure that these are the people who will be speaking to. Brandy Atwell, here. Jeff Carroll, Vince Carroll, Maggie Kubasiewski, Valerie Morris, Melissa Sargent, Councillor Ian Strait, Katie Hamill, Bonnie Leach, and I noticed Reeve Dobson is online, and Jasmine as well. Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you mention Vince? Is Vince on?
Vince is on the list.
I see his screen now.
I don't see his name
I don't
here.
see
Oh, Vince
Like,
Carroll?
name,
Vince Carroll. Is it Vince Carroll?
Yes,
Yeah?
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
If you're on,
Perfect.
you're muted.
Okay. Okay, so I just want to give you a little bit of background about the study. I'm sure you're aware of it in generally, but I want to just start off with kind of scoping it a little bit. The study will consider the feasibility of providing recreation facilities, amenities, and features at the township-owned 22-acre site adjacent to Montague Public School. Facilities, amenities, and features can encompass a variety of things. For example, a sports field for organized community use, trails, paths for walking, shade structures, tree canopy, seating areas, washrooms, change rooms, parking. And in this particular study, I think from what we've learned so far, key considerations in making recommendations for Montague will be meeting community needs as opposed to wants for recreation, because some of these are already accommodated in other municipalities. What's reasonable for the township to finance, both in terms of provision, i.e. capital costs, and ongoing operating, that is day-to-day maintenance, human resources to program or supervise anything, capital conservation costs. So what's reasonable for the township to finance, both to build and operate anything that's provided on the site, and what can be accomplished in the short, medium, and long term. So in other words, the certain things could be done in a phased manner, possibly, to, if there is, there will be costs always, to spread costs over a longer period of time. Now, we have, as I said, we have about 2 hours, and we have about 9 or 10 people on the meeting. So if we allot, say, 90 minutes to respond to the questions that we have, and leave about half an hour at the end for any questions you might have for us about the study. That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if that's acceptable to people. That would leave each person about 9 minutes to make their response to 2 questions we've identified. Yes, Councillor Strait?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mary. I guess from my point of view, I would really like to, I think that the people that are on council right now have had an opportunity, or will have an opportunity to have a conversation with you going forward. So if we could let the other people go forward first and make sure that we get all their thoughts and ideas out, and then the council people could finish up at the end if there's time left.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because we have already spoken to council members. So if we let non-council members lead, then we'll make sure we can cover everybody in the time we have available.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, we're going to be asking, recording your names against your responses, but no names will appear in any documentation. It's really just for our purposes, in case we have to get back to you to clarify anything you've said, or to ask any additional questions. So you don't have to worry from that perspective about your name's going to be attached to a comment. So you can speak, as freely as you choose. So in order to facilitate everybody getting a chance, we kind of boil it down to 2 questions for tonight. And the first question is, what are the 2 or 3 most needed recreation services among Montague residents that that could be met at the site? And number 2, what do you see as the opportunities and challenges that will influence the feasibility of doing so? Now, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but opportunities might include, like, it doesn't cost that much to provide and operate, or it could serve all age groups in the community. Things like that. Challenges might include things like it would require staff or volunteers to run, and where are we going to get those people or pay for those people, or it's just too costly for the township to provide. So, and given the challenges you think exist, can you think of any ways the township might overcome these? So those are the 2 questions. So I would like to start with, I'll repeat them again for the first person. We'd like to start with whoever wants to go first. Is there anybody who wants to go first?
Put someone on the spot.
Are you guys making me go first?
Is that Melissa?
Yeah, I can go first.
Okay. So, do you
You
need
can
the
still
question?
hear me all right?
Yep. Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
No, so I think one of the biggest things we need is a community hub in Montague. So
Community hub,
essentially
yeah.
we need somewhere. So the park has been great. The park has been great, and lots of families are using it. But historically, anyone from Montague has always had to go into Smith Falls, to Laurie's, or to the community center here to do any activities. And so it would be great somewhere where the kids who are in central Montague area, like close to the school, could have somewhere to go and hang out with their friends and do things, obviously after COVID.
Okay.
And so having somewhere with washroom facilities is also a big need in the community, because right now if you go to the park, you drive or walk, the little ones need to go to the washroom, and so then you have to go home. So it'd be great to have washroom facilities as well. In terms of
Can I
what's
just ask you-
there,
Can I just ask you a question? Sorry. What park are you referring to if you go to the
go
park
ahead.
now? The park you're referring to, is that this
Oh, so-
location?
Yeah, at our community hall, which is down the road from the 22 acres, we just got a government grant and we opened up just a playground there. In, June, maybe, I think it was. So we opened it there, and it's been very successful and well used within the community, and a lot of people are super excited about it.
Okay. So that's the park you're referring to. Okay, the playground at the hall. Okay. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, in terms of what we could see there, so to my knowledge, because someone can correct me if I'm wrong, we don't have any baseball diamonds in Montague. So we do have access to the soccer field at the school, but I think it would be great to have baseball diamonds there, and as well as an outdoor rink, because that's something else that the township hasn't been able to offer lately. And I grew up in Montague, and we always had an outdoor rink at the school, and so that was one of the things that my generation really misses, I find. And I'm kind of the generation that's now having kids that are coming up and growing up, so I think an outdoor rink would be great to have. So I think that's most of my points for the first question, and then obviously for the second question, a big part of that is having the staffing to clean and maintain the arena, as well as the funds to maintain it and clear it off and ensure the ice is usable. And then what was the other thing? Like, I think it would be great to have an indoor facility as well. With, I'm sure you've heard from some of the council members that the only indoor soccer field or like AstroTurf is in Beckwith. So there's not actually one in the Smith Falls area. So it would be great to have something like that. But then once again, it's a challenge to how to fund not only the initial capital, but the ongoing operating expenses without increasing the tax base too much. One opportunity there is is that we pay a significant amount of money to Smith Falls every year to use their arenas. And so, and lots of other areas contribute to that as well. So that's something that we could look at doing should we have an indoor facility that other communities could use.
So you mean, are you suggesting no longer paying them and using that money, or just generating more money to pay for local services, or both?
Like initiating like a cost sharing agreement with some of the surrounding municipalities for them to use the facility.
Okay.
Similar to the way that Smith Falls charges us
right.
to use their facility.
Okay. So yeah, like people coming to Montague versus always people from Montague and going other places. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's a high level of kind of everything that's going on in my head at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, since I'm sitting in an arena right now, I'm very big on having recreation in the municipality, and then also, I guess the other thing would be childcare.
Okay.
A lot of people living in Montague Township don't necessarily work in Smith Falls. A lot commute into the city. So I know one challenge that my family in particular has is we never wanted to do childcare in town once we lived out in Montague because we would have to drive into Smith Falls and then head into the city. So it adds a lot of extra time.
Right.
So I know lots of people who are always looking for childcare within the municipality.
Right. When you say into town, you mean Ottawa?
So into Smith Falls is the closest childcare, aside from some in-home ones. There's some in-home opportunities in Montague, but there's no other big opportunities for childcare. You have to go into Smith Falls to get it.
Right, but when you say go to work in town, do you mean into Ottawa because that's the other way? Is that what you mean, or no?
Yeah, so lots of people in the municipality work in Ottawa.
Okay, that's great. Very good. Very very focused and to the point. Anything else, or do you want to get back to skating?
I think that's it.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. I'm glad you were able to do both, multitasking.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody care to go second?
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I guess
care?
I'll go.
Okay.
Get it over with. Really, I probably will be repeating most of what Melissa said. I think that most of what she said is definitely something we've been all on agreement with that we'd like to see come here. I would like to see if we did an indoor facility that had a soccer field. I would like to see a walking track for our elderly people or all of the community. I think that exercise and, oh no, I lost my internet. Am I there?
Hear you. We can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I lost the internet there for a second.
Okay.
Sorry about that. A walking track for the community. I know that the one in town gets lots of use, but again, people from out of town don't always want to drive inwards just to go to walk a track.
Right.
Soccer and the hockey, I would really like to see us be maybe like some of the other townships, be a competitor like Westport, like having us be maybe competition for Smith Falls to play against, whether it's soccer, hockey, baseball, most of the sports. It'd be nice to have like a multi facility that could maybe house quite a few things.
Okay.
For the costs and opportunities, and daycare was the other thing. Sorry, daycare is a big thing. I know Montague School has been doing before and after school programs, but I know the numbers are definitely in need for that. As a bus driver, I see and hear quite a bit. I like the cost sharing as well, that if we have things to offer, more people are going to want to come, and more people from the exteriors will want to maybe use our facilities as well.
Right.
Might give us some leeway with Smith Falls to find a way to do like an equal cost sharing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges, I guess, would be finding, I guess, the way to bring this to the community where everybody's on agreement. I think that's our biggest challenge, is that we have some of the older folks not quite in agreement as the younger generation. But as we grow, we definitely need to think of the younger generation, because they are going to be our future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what else to add.
That's okay. You can always, add something later in the conversation if you think of something.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to go now? Oh, okay. Maggie? Is it Maggie?
Sorry, I gotta
Yep.
unmute myself. Yeah, a lot of what they said I agree with. I would like to see more winter activities. We really don't have anything for winter activities.
Uh-huh.
And if we could make it multi-purpose, in Smith Falls, they have an outdoor ice rink that basically turns into a basketball court in the summertime. So it
Uh-huh.
can be used all year long. I'd like to see some kind of parkland area, someplace where people could meet, and just as a group of people, besides, with picnic tables and maybe a small stage area, something like that. I know that's not recreation though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Did you mention at the beginning though, you're only looking at the 22 acres beside the school?
Well, that's the focus of this study, but so I didn't want to really get into too many other things tonight, but if you really have something you want to mention outside of that, yeah, please
No, I'm
do.
just wondering if you're thinking of anything for Rosedale or any other areas in Montague. Is it just the school?
The school site is where we're looking to maybe do a concept plan, but there are other opportunities for programming elsewhere that might occur, like at the hall. But for the feasibility study itself, those would be kind of secondary topics. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's basically my thoughts. Something like winter and something that can be used multi-purpose.
Okay.
And of course, cost is going to be a big factor in how much we can get in grants and stuff like that.
Right. By the way, what you said about park space where people can just get together and socialize, and that's all part of recreation. That's not, we're not just looking at active, sports and stuff like that. We're looking at all kinds of recreation, which would include, coming with your family to the park and having a picnic or whatever. So, okay. And you said that main challenge was the cost. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind here.
It's probably going to be the cost,
Okay.
but we need something for the younger generation.
Right.
The playground, like somebody said, has been really popular this summer, and it's a small little playground, but it's been used almost every day and by multiple families. They meet down there, so we want to enhance that a little bit more. I know I was asked about putting in a skateboard that get the younger generation out and about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The playground is, some playgrounds are constructed for different age groups. Is this for primary and young elementary school children, or largely preschool children, or what's the age range of it?
Elementary, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones
Okay.
I've seen there are all little kids.
Okay.
I think it's 4 to 12. I think was the bracket that was
The range.
fitting into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Right
Jeff.
behind Jeff.
Yeah, it's right behind Jeff.
This is it right
Jeff's
here.
picture.
We're
So he
proud
has-
of it.
He has user stats on that, right? He counts however many people come to every day to the playground.
Now you put me on the spot.
Well, maybe you better start now. I see that's the That's the playground in the background, right? It's quite a
Yeah.
quite a good size. Yeah.
The Rosedale Hall is behind it.
Pardon me?
Our Rosedale Hall is behind it. You see
Yes,
a building?
in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rosedale Hall,
Yeah.
our community hall.
And that is it. I saw something about it being called different names, but it typically goes by Rosedale Hall, right? That's that's what most people call it.
Yeah.
Okay. At first, I thought it was two separate halls, but it's just the one. Okay. How about Valerie? Do you want to go next, or you have to unmute?
No,
You have to
Val, we
unmute.
can't hear you. You have
No.
to unmute yourself. There's a little mic icon in the corner.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh,
Oh no,
there
there
you
we
go.
are. Okay,
Okay, sorry about that.
that's all right.
Being a senior citizen, I would like to see more seniors activities incorporated into the feasibility study for this 22-acre site.
Mhm.
I like the idea of maybe a park and a bandstand and or a pergola, that sort of thing. You could have outdoor musical festivals. And also, nobody has mentioned in my time sitting on this committee, a baseball diamond that I remember. And all I hear about is soccer fields, hockey, et cetera, and do the kids don't play baseball anymore? I'd like to see a baseball diamond discussed, so.
Yep, Melissa
Is-
and I both said that.
Is there a
Um,
ball diamond at the school? No.
no.
Okay.
No. For anybody's information, I don't know, you may know this, you may not, but the Blue Jays do offer a grant for the Field of Dreams
Right.
baseball. And it's up right now to being applied for 2021. So,
Yeah, I
Not-
didn't know that was still in existence, but it is. Okay, good.
so the baseball diamond would not just be for the children, it would be for teenagers, it would be for young men and women, and even seniors.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I'd like to see cost sharing as well.
Uh-huh.
Rent out the facility, the recreation facility. Beckwith Township does it and they are very successful at it. And a walking track, I like Maggie's idea of a walking track. So that's really
Are
all
you-
I have to say about the plan, but seniors need to be addressed
Mhm.
in this feasibility study as well.
When you said walking track, are you referring to an indoor facility?
That would be nice. An
Okay.
indoor facility would be excellent because right now my husband and I go to Smiths Falls and use that.
Okay.
So it'd be really nice to have something, not that it's closer, but it would be in our area. So
Right. Okay. We're moving pretty quickly through this. Okay. So we'll have lots of time at the end for questions or anything else you want to talk about. Katie, are you able to go next? Oh, maybe she's not hearing.
Katie did a message in the chat saying that it's really loud over there. So she was going to add her thoughts. If you have more, then just pop them in there.
Oh, in the chat box.
In the chat, yeah.
Okay.
She added some stuff also with the walking trails, baseball diamond, daycare.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of
You got
everything.
that right?
Yeah, I get it.
You've got that? Yeah.
Could I add
Um,
some?
who wants to go
Could I
next
add some
then?
if I could? Could
Sure.
I add some? Could I add?
Sure. Who is that?
It's Brandy.
Okay.
I liked Valerie when she said, because yes, the seniors are definitely need to be a key in this as well. I remember growing up playing shuffleboard with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it was an indoor facility, having a separate area with maybe some floor shuffleboards. I've also seen, and it's kind of neat, where the turf for a soccer field can be multi-purpose. For whether it's lawn bowling, the what do you call it? The believe it or not, stand-up pool, where you play a game of pool, but you're standing up and you kick the balls instead.
Hmm.
And again, that's another way to get the seniors. The seniors can do these things, and it's kind of getting active and doing things with their hands and their feet.
Mhm.
The other thing was, with all that land and everything, I know the school years ago had tried to do a walking trail. It is an outdoor thing and it would be pretty, but just over time, as you know, maybe having a trail where people could walk, bike, not necessarily four-wheel or anything like that, but just more like walking, biking, then maybe the school might want to use it for when they do their big walks for Terry Fox and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So a non-motorized trail. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you could probably put stipulations. I would never want to have an elderly person show up with their mobile cart and, you know, want to stroll with their loved one and not be able to do that. You know, like I think that should be allowed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are going to be contacting the school because we also heard they had a planting plan for an outdoor natural area, and we want to try and get a hold of that and see what their plans were, and if we can maybe bring those a bit forward to this particular study. If the work's already been done and it's relevant, maybe we can use that.
Excuse me, Mary.
Yes.
I think maybe Jasmine has a copy of that the plans that they had for that outdoor education. It did include a track or a trail, but
Okay.
I think we do. I think we at the township have a copy of that.
Just a matter of digging it up.
I've been working to locate it. I
Okay.
know it somewhere.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the week, and Jasmine said she's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so who else? I'm going to go over here. How about Melissa?
Oh, she's gone already, I think.
Oh,
She's the first one, yeah.
oh, she was the first one. Sorry. Vince.
Vince, you got to
Is-
unmute.
Is Vince there?
I don't know. I just see his name with a mute.
Yeah.
He is here. I've asked him to unmute, so
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go.
Good,
Yeah.
good. We're making success. Somehow those dogs will just disappear off there in a moment. How's that?
There you are.
All right, we're back again anyhow. All right, so I've been listening to everybody's hopes and desires and whatnot. And certainly I think we're all in agreement of a multi-use field and whatnot. But out of curiosity, Mary, has council, when you were putting the plan together and whatnot to what you were going to be studying or putting the study together, did they approach your group or company to contact the other surrounding municipalities to see if they would be interested in using a multifunctional field if Montague was to build one?
Well, that's part of the proposal that we submitted. And when we get to the point where we get a sense of what might be proposed, then we
Okay.
can go to some of the other municipalities and ask them what their interest would be. And also we would go to the user groups that might be potential users. So in other words, if we're looking at possibly a soccer field, we would contact the area soccer fields to see if
Yes.
they would, if they need, or either currently or in the long term, if they think they would need access to another field. But yeah, that comes a bit later when we have a better sense of what we're looking at.
Okay. And the reason I bring that up is when you look at Merrickville and Kempville, if they want to go to an indoor facility, they're either heading to Ottawa. They're either heading to Ottawa or they're heading to Beckwith. If you go to Perth and Lanark, they're either heading to Ottawa or they're going to Beckwith. You use some of the outside parts of the city, even North Gore. They may not necessarily want to head into Ottawa if the facility was available in Montague Township, and the fact that possibly the costing would be more affordable than going into the city and whatnot. So I'm certainly on board with the a multifunctional field and whatnot, especially for all age groups, being if it's little kids down to running around on the indoors in the early years, or if it's the younger old people wanting to use the indoor field, be it was for pickleball or just golf, or there's numerous things that you can be done with a multifunctional field. Beckwith is an example to see that what has developed with them over the years. Back in, I'll kind of date it back, I think it was 2010, they had the in Lanark, Renfrew County, they had the world's men's and ladies broomball tournament. Happened to be fortunate for Beckwith. They, through the rental village in Kempville, they came across a plastic material that they could put on their indoor field where people could, you could have a dance on it. You didn't have to worry about spilling food and drinks and damaging the field. So anyways, fortunate for Beckwith, the rental village didn't want that stuff back. Beckwith bought it, and now they've had many functions, large functions, being Richard Kidd is the reeve for Beckwith. He was also warden of the county a few times. He's had his outgoing parties for the warden on the field there with this plastic surface. So there's many functions that can be used in this field. The other thing is, people are going to say, where's the money going to come from? Yes, we can apply. Yes, we can apply for programs out of the province and the feds and everything else like that. But the other thing we can also look at is we have new developers coming to Montague Township. We have the Jackson Homes. We have both father and son that are developing in the houses in the township. We have another gentleman that has come up out of Richmond, which has bought I think he calls them storage box facility, both on Highway 15 at the intersection of 15 and Sturgis Road, as well as further up Highway 15 going towards Carleton Place. And he's also a housing developer that wants to start building houses in Montague Township. So as more developers come and you approach them to get on board to what you're wanting to do, if it's kind of back to the Field of Dreams thing with Kevin Costner. If you build it, they will come. And seeing that Ottawa has moved to Stittsville, has moved to Beckwith, Carleton Place, and whatnot. With time, they will be moving into the Montague Township area. Where our downfall is people think that their land is worth gold, and developers have to come in and tell them, no, your land is worth bronze, and we are going to make the gold on your land. But anyways, as I say, I'm very much in favor of the multifunctional field, and I certainly ideas will be to promote, approach the developers to see if they'd be on board to help making it a reality and not just a dream.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Okay, who have I missed? I don't think I've missed anybody that was on the list other than councillors. let me know if I have. I don't think so. Because Katie's sending hers in via chat. So I think we can go to counselors and the Reeve if you like.
Sure. No,
Do you want to start, Jeff?
sure. Yeah. I mean, we already had a big
Yeah.
discussion, you and I, which is great. And I find this really encouraging, just, obviously about some of the ideas that are coming out, because that's exactly what I'm hoping that we're going to get out of this is what can we make and what can we build? And it's really from young to old. So I have kids obviously in this area. So I like that kid side of it, but I kind of do, to touch on Val's point is I plan on being old here too as well. So it's I'm kind of hoping that as we get there, we're gonna grow and be really have a lot more options for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the ideas that are coming out of this because I kind of concur with it all. And let's see what we can do and make it financially feasible too as well. We know we need daycare options that are going to be out in this sort of neck of the woods. We know we need other options, and we have the land to do it. So I'm more excited now as I listen to everybody else talking about their ideas about how we can kind of culminate this all together. So I concur with everybody's thoughts so far, and thank you for them. So
I just want to clarify a little bit about the daycare. When, in terms of recreation, we can typically consider things like before and after school programs as part of that whole package, but not necessarily infant and preschool daycare. That's a kind of a different thing because it's definitely intense care. So I just want to clarify what you mean by daycare.
So before and after school is obviously that option is great. And if you have something or a facility obviously that offers recreation options, I think it helps with that before and after school care option.
Right.
That being said, if you have something that's there that's working as a before or after school, what can it lead to? And I think that's another part of it too as well. Is there an opportunity then for daycare options to be in there? I think before and after school care is a huge
Yeah.
part of it. I think I think more information we get from the people out there as we get that. I don't know what the exact answer for that is.
Right.
And that's why I'm glad we're doing this, is because what is going to be the result of that? So, and everything else. So.
Okay. All right.
Can I just add something about the daycare? So
Yeah.
the current before and after school program in Montague is only available to students attending Montague Public School. So that is
Okay.
only the students who live in Montague and go to the English Public Board. It is not available to anyone at French school, in French immersion, or anyone who attends the Catholic schools. All of those kids have to get before and after school care outside of Montague Public School.
Okay. So it's only for the kids who go to that school.
And my idea behind bringing up the daycare with the recreation study is that if we are doing a multi-purpose facility, including a space in there where the daycare could come in, even if it wasn't necessarily provided by the township. So an example of that would be in Manotick, the Manotick Nursery, which is in the Manotick Arena, is a co-op. And so it's not city run, but
Right.
it's within the city facility, and that space is there and available. And one of the big things in Montague is that right now there's nowhere to really have that facility out in the more central part of Montague.
Right.
There used to be one at Rita Regional Center, or the old Rita Regional Center.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's great.
Counselor Straight?
Sure, Mary. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to bring about the ideas that they brought forth. I think that you know, as we go down through the study and everything else like that, the more ideas and thoughts we have in regards to what it is that we want to do and how our township's going to look in the future is really critical. And I think that you know, we have a really good group of people here that have put a lot of thought and effort into what they would like to see, and they've talked to a lot of people and done some homework. You know, I guess for me, I really, I know it's not part of your scope, Mary, but I really think that Rosedale Hall should be kind of blended into this a little bit. And when we talk about daycare and all these other things, we have a hall that's there that could be potentially used, I don't know, to, you know, initiate or start some of these activities that we're talking about now. And getting those things going is a great thing. And as you start and you prove demand within the community, it's a lot easier to get buy-in to take the next step. You know, and I think that if there's, you know, it's programmed and done properly, that people will attend and will, you know, take part in some of these activities that we could really be putting on somewhat at Rosedale Hall. And you know, it's a great stepping stone to the to where you might go at the end of the day.
Yeah, that certainly is something we can investigate in the survey, what people are interested in seeing in the way of programs that could be offered, could be started now. But the next, people will ask for lots of things, but the next necessary step is to have some way to develop and provide those. So volunteers or bringing in outside providers, maybe to offer programs like pet satellite programming or something like that. But there has to be some initiated work on that somehow to make it happen. So that's great, but just it might fall, that kind of stuff might fall on the committee. And I know that you have already done some work. I read the minutes of your previous meetings. You've already done some work on trying to get some things going. And I don't know how, well, I guess COVID kind of, you know, put the kibosh to a lot of that stuff, but I don't know what kind of uptake you were getting when you were looking for volunteers and looking for, you know, that next step, so to speak, you know, and getting things going. So just so you know that people will ask for a lot of things, but you may not get people willing to help you provide them. But that doesn't mean we don't ask, right? Yeah.
Well, you have to try, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And try a volunteer group to help or hire whatever we might need to be
Yeah.
in order to take that step.
Yeah.
A couple of things that I would like to see, I think that for that 22 acres, I would like to see an outside classroom kind of area for the kids to be able to use from the school. This develop. I know I talked to you about that earlier. Maybe like even a little spot that could be designated as a camping area. I know that the Boy Scouts have came and used the hall before. Girl Scouts, you know, they come and they stay there overnight. So it'd be nice if there was a spot where they could go. And it's one of the beauties of being out in the country is that, you know, we can actually have a campfire and they can roast some marshmallows, dog, or whatever it might be. So having a little area segregated for that could be, you know, combined as an outdoor learning center. And a camping area where some of these groups and even classes from the school could maybe even take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
The other thing that as you drive around that you happen to see is you know, some of these places have outdoor pools. You know, there's all these different things, and I think that if we're having this conversation, then we need to try and look at whatever it is that we can.
I was gonna ask something. Anyway, it'll come back.
And as for me, Mary, as far as the daycare portion of it goes,
yeah,
I'd like to see a fully, you know, I mean, if we're going to look at all these things, I want to see the numbers and what the interest is in a fully functional, you know, not just before and after, but a spot for people with their younger children to go. I think that's probably one of the issues.
Okay.
Or it sounds to be already. So. Okay.
Well, we can ask about that as well. we're going to be doing an online survey. So we'll get the municipality to help us promote it so that we can get as much uptake and feedback from the community as possible. Do you typically have good response to surveys that you put out? Do you find that people are keen?
Uh,
No.
I don't know what you want to call really good. I don't know.
Over a couple
Maybe
hundred?
Jasmine can probably, the last Survey Monkey thing we did, Jasmine, how many respondents do we have?
I think we do tend to have like a fairly low number, although we do reach, in terms of the percentage of typical residents that you would reach, we do fairly well in terms of percentages.
Okay.
But not necessarily
Big
the
numbers.
number of it is a little bit low. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
During the development of our strategic plan, we had some really good input from the community, but I think it's been a little less so in later years.
Right. Well, people are being surveyed all the time about stuff. So it's, people get survey fatigue and they don't necessarily want to do another survey, but we'll try our best. And it was something about, oh yes, the Montague Talks. I know that's a specific group. You sign up as a group, but there may be some opportunity for somebody in the group there to send us information, like send us summaries of what people are talking about. I don't necessarily know if they would let us into the group temporarily, but we could maybe ask them to feed us what people are saying, and then we would get input that way as well. So anyway, that's just a thought that that we talked about before, Jasmine, but you weren't sure whether they would want us in the group, but maybe we can get them.
It's a good question to ask now. And Brandy, are you still an admin of the group?
Yeah. I'm one of the admins, and I only have Shannon Reed to really do the other one. So if you want to go ahead and friend on Facebook, I'll add you.
Okay, great. So we can see what people are saying via that vehicle. That's good.
Yeah, I think that it's really important. That way you guys can do more research and scroll and whatnot. Because there has been definitely different sides of both, like on
right.
So
yeah.
you can scroll back quite a while.
We want to hear, the pros, the cons, what people are interested in, what they see the issues being, and so that's a good source. Okay.
Maggie's had her hand up.
Oh, okay. I'm not on that screen.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, I was just saying that. Yeah, I'll add you if you Facebook friend it.
Yeah, I will. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
If you limit it to online only, you're going to miss a lot of people that would probably want something to say. I think you should do a mail out as well. A lot of older people don't use the internet, and a lot of internet in this area is not reliable. It's not fast, and people are not on it as much as in the cities. So I think you should think about doing something besides an online survey.
Well, a mail out could be fairly costly, and that wasn't part of the budget, but we can certainly think about how else we might get input.
I think almost everybody goes into the town offices January, February to pick up their garbage tags and the mail out, the letter thing they get. Something could be handed out at the same time. Or
yeah, we could do.
Or have something in the office that they can come and get.
Yes, we could do a paper version that the municipality could print and hand out to people. And we are looking at doing the survey in the new year because we want to make sure that we don't end up conflicting with holiday time, when people are busy doing other things, and we'll be far enough along at that point that we can really focus on some relevant questions to this particular study. So that's an option. We could provide a paper version that could be copied and handed out if people are interested.
So I think everybody goes in to get their garbage tags. They don't mail them out anymore, I don't think. So a lot of people are going in.
Yeah, the other option is, I don't know about township-wide mail-outs in terms of timing, but there could be a, just not necessarily the survey itself, but a flyer or a little note could go in there to direct people to the online survey for those people who are interested and who can get online, or the other option, come into the town hall and pick up a copy. So just that people are made aware that it's available. So
There's a big sign right outside the township office that it could just be put on.
yeah,
That they're available, come in and get them.
Yeah.
And the word will get
Okay.
out that they're in
Yeah.
there.
it's preferable to do online because it's all tabulated in there. We do take the paper copies, but they have to be entered manually, so it takes longer. But certainly we don't preclude that option. So, okay.
Mary?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes?
Ian.
the last tax bill should be going out here very, at the end of the year, so we can definitely add a pamphlet or something like that.
Okay, so
and,
we could send you something to just a little bit of promotion, and you could.
There's a flyer that goes with them. So.
Okay, good.
Sure.
And when does it go?
When's the last mailing date, Jasmine?
I think the next one gets sent out in January.
So the beginning of January.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that we'll send something. We'll include something in that, as well as it'll be advertised online and on the website of the township. Yes, Reeve Dobson?
Oh, you're muted, Bill. Sorry, Mary.
Thanks. Yeah, I was just going to say it could be part of our newsletter.
Yeah.
It possibly could be part of our newsletter itself. It doesn't have to be a separate piece of paper.
Okay.
Yeah, on like our.
Yes.
And that's when that goes out in January? Yes?
Yeah, it'll go
That's-
out at the
yeah.
end of January. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can either, depending on the timing, if the survey's already been issued, we can just, leave it up and remind people. Or if it hasn't been issued at that point, we want to keep on the project schedule as much as we can, but we can always work around that. Okay. Reeve Dobson, did you want to? Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure if the last speaker was finished. That was Ian. Councillor Straight, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Reeve Dobson, would you like to
Yeah, thank you.
add
So-
something?
So thanks, Mary. And I did make a few there. My comments are kind of all over the board because I was making some notes as each person was speaking. But I want to thank you. And I also want to sincerely thank everybody on this committee because, as time goes on, I think that we will, start thinking more and more and more positively. And I already am because of all of the great things that have come out of this. But a few comments I'd like to make, if I could, please. I do think that it's very important that when you hear, and I'm sure you will, when we hear all of the different ideas and comments, to prioritize, because we really have to focus on the things that we need first and not on the things that we want, which I always feel is very important. Now, we've already heard about some great things tonight. Baseball, some of the things that were talked about are things that I don't really feel that we need right now, but others are top priorities. Daycare is top priority. Baseball, fabulous idea. The camping idea of Yerzine and the outdoor education. The outdoor education is exactly like the outdoor classroom, but that feeds exactly into the outdoor education that the school was going to do when they originally came up with the idea of the 22 acres. So that's something that we should be able to get information from the school, what their plans were, because it was all about outdoor education. In other words, an outdoor classroom. So I think that's very important. I also have to agree that Rosedale Hall, as far as I'm concerned, has to be involved. It has to be part of this study. I have never thought that the study should be focused on the 22 acres. I've never thought that. And if you remember, Mary, when you were interviewing me, I think I had many areas that I wanted us to look at and focus. The 22 acres is an obvious one. Rosedale Hall is an obvious one. But as I did mention to you, there are a few other areas that I would like to see us also look at. We've talked quite a bit. A lot of people are talking about soccer, whether it be indoors or outdoors. But we have a soccer field that Montague Township spent good money on. There's never been a ball kicked. So as far as I'm concerned, we have to look at that first. I like the idea of the indoor facility and the cost sharing. That's fabulous. But for things that that nobody else has is the best way to go. And like it's been pointed out, indoor soccer is not available around Smith Falls, and that could be one of the things that we could cost share. Now, it was mentioned about the walking track. It would be very expensive to build an indoor walking track. Obviously, it would be part of the indoor facility, I believe. But for now, as far as an indoor track is concerned, I, like Valerie, have also used the walking track in Smith Falls, and it's state of the art and it's free. And there are as many people can drive to the walking track in Smith Falls. It's just as close for a big part of Montague Township. So, like, to me, yes, a walking track is to me, it is a priority, but it's still, I feel that because there is one we can use, I don't place that near the top. And most people have also heard me go on about an outdoor rink. Again, it would be great to have one in Montague, but I don't feel that it should be at the high end of our priorities, because we have a state-of-the-art outdoor rink in Smith Falls, and I don't feel that we'll ever be able to put one up like they did, but it's free to us. It costs us nothing, plus the one in Merrickville. So there's been some really good comments and suggestions brought up here. And there's only so much money to go around. So I feel that we should really, truly be looking at the assets that we really don't have, and that we have no access to. And I guess finally I was going to mention, because somebody mentioned about a walking a trail. Again, it would be an easy place to have a trail on our 22 acres, but we have right now a state-of-the-art trail in Montague Township, which everyone can use. It's multi-purpose, and that is the OVRT, the Ottawa Valley Recreation Trail, which begins in Montague. And I will say that it goes through some pretty high-end areas, like, well-used areas like Carleton Place and Almont. And in those two towns, everybody from four-wheelers to horses to baby carriages to people walking use it. And it's a county-owned, but it's for everybody. And we have little or no problems. Everybody respects each other. So it's multi-purpose, it's multi-use, and it's in Montague, and it's state-of-the-art. It's covered with the best stone dust going. So, again, it would be nice to have one here, yes, but we have one. I hope that's not too much, but I was just making notes. But again, I really want to truly compliment everybody on the Recreation Committee, because this is just sort of a first step in the study, I know. And once that you consult with the public and all of the stakeholders in and out of Montague, I'm sure you're going to have a lot to work with, Mary. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, the one thing I wanted to talk about was site servicing, because the site is not serviced, and that would create some implications for certain facilities being provided there and the cost. So I just wanted to clarify that it isn't serviced.
It is not serviced, no.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it would be, we would require well and septic on the property.
Okay.
Is there a natural gas line that goes down that road? Yeah.
I would have to check, I don't know.
So is there any, Jasmine, do you want to provide any input at this point? Or I know we already spoke, but you can provide us with more if you want.
I think I'm good. I think I'll defer to the committee for tonight.
Okay.
I know we did speak, and I definitely expressed, some of the things that I've noticed that would be of benefit, or that I've heard in the past as well. But this is the committee's
Okay.
moment to shine. So
Okay. So I just wanted to mention, even though Reeve Dobson, even though I said the focus for tonight's discussion is the 22-acre site, excuse me, we certainly won't preclude people talking about other things and make, recommendations for possibilities like programming Montague Hall and things like that. But we want to ensure we give you a good, solid concept for the site. And, we'll be looking at, because of the priority issues and what's needed and what isn't needed and what's wanted versus what's needed now, some phasing and things like that. So that's going to take, that's going to be, I guess, the central part, but there'll also be other considerations given what we've heard about the need for Rosedale Hall to be better used and some of the other things we've talked about. So I wasn't suggesting we weren't going to look at those things. I just wanted to I'm trying to scope it so that we can get everything in appropriately. So, so we still have time, I think. So if there's anything else people want to talk about, I know you've done some work already as a committee trying to get some programming going, and I don't know if there's anything you're working on right now that you'd like to let us know that you're working on, or things that are looking that might happen once COVID's put to bed, so to speak, or things are a bit looser in terms of public gatherings. Anything along that line that the committee's working on or wants to work on in the way of programming or events or anything like that?
Yes.
Yep. Did you want to say something, Brandy?
No, I was just I didn't know if Jazz had anything she wanted to add.
Well, I know we've discussed more COVID-friendly items in the winter of this year, and kind of getting more, more in touch with the community with with doing that. Like the idea of having like Christmas light drive-throughs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just relatively minor stuff until we're really able to plan events.
Right. So you're focusing right now on COVID, not post-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And can I just
sure.
add that we did have a lot of things planned for Rosedale, but because of things that were happening at Rosedale, we couldn't use the facility. And hopefully that'll be fixed up pretty soon and we can start doing stuff at Rosedale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I heard that the pickleball group is going to be renting Rosedale Hall for some indoor activities. So that's a good start.
Yes,
Good
they've
thing.
actually already started, despite the fact that it's under construction, but they're pretty flexible bunch.
Okay.
I think they just wanted to be out of the rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're I think it's 2 evenings and one daytime a week, which is excellent.
Yeah. And do they come from the area or outside of Montague, or largely just Montague? Do you know?
It's a bit of a larger area, so it's there are members from Montague, there's members from Smith Falls, and then a couple
Okay.
of smaller municipalities around us. So it's a bit of a
Okay.
mixed group.
Okay. Okay. So maybe if people don't want to add any more to the specific questions that we asked.
I have a note.
Okay.
Just as to look into. Last year, the council did allow the firefighters association to take over the licensing of Rosedale Hall. So in terms of like serving the hall, so I believe that they do have some community programming that they may have planned, but again, I think COVID kind of put a kibosh on a lot of that planning. I don't know.
Right.
If I don't know, I'm putting you on the spot. If there's anything that's available publicly about what they're planning.
There was some thought about some. Yeah, well, we had some different ideas. I think it was all just starting to get together until all of a sudden COVID comes, and I think everything's kind of been put on the back burner. We did talk about dart leagues and stuff like that could be done there easily. Some of that kind of stuff, was mentioned and brought up. I guess one of the best people to talk to would be Bill Barber. He's the association president. I do believe we gave you his contact information when we talked.
Yeah, you did when we spoke. So we have him on the list of people to speak to. Yeah. Okay.
But again, same thing. We were waiting for the renovations to be done, and then COVID and everything else.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really came around again for much further discussion.
Bill has
Reeve Dobson. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Mary, I realize that you're going to be talking to many different stakeholders, but is one of the stakeholders our Montague and District Seniors Club?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good, because I think that that's great, and I'm glad about that, because we talk about Rosedale Hall and 22 acres and whatever, and activities that could be taking place at Rosedale Hall and the 22 acres, but there's also a lot of recreation could also be taking place at the seniors hall. So I'm glad, because I'd like to see, that's just my personal opinion, is a general discussion about recreation generally for seniors throughout Montague Township. It doesn't necessarily have to be at Rosedale Hall or our 22 acres.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of other things. We used to talk about, organizing, say, a bus trip for seniors to go to Ottawa. I think, Ian, that was your idea 2 or 3 years ago. So, I'm just saying that generally speaking, I feel that recreation is a pretty wide, broad definition. And I just would like to see, and I'm sure that'll happen when you talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If everyone has provided us with what they like to say tonight, I'd just like to offer you an opportunity to ask us any questions you have about the study. Nope. No questions?
I don't see anybody's hand up.
No. Okay. Well, we still have 50 minutes, so what would you like to do?
Bingo. No, I'm kidding.
You what?
Bingo! Just kidding.
Well, maybe we
Oh.
could just call it at that, and if people think of additional things, they can maybe send it
Yeah.
to us over email if something comes
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah, no problem receiving emails. And, our next steps will be to, we're still in what we've termed phase 1, and that's getting essentially the background information together so that we know the context and what we're going to be looking at in terms of surveying the community. For example, we'll be surveying groups like field users, because there seems to be interest in potential field provision, but we won't be surveying aquatic clubs, because I don't think an indoor pool is something that we're even looking at in the long term. Like that's my sense. So we want to scope it so that we're getting input from people who are realistically potential users of facilities at that site. So if anybody's concerned about that, in terms of how we're scoping that, we should talk about that, I think, because from what I'm hearing, and also just so you know that North Grenville did their master plan. They just finished it last November. Their draft is online. North Grenville, which is a population projected to be about 21,000 in 2031. It was not recommended they provide an indoor pool or add an arena. So even at that population base, and I know they also rely on use from outside the municipality, they were essentially, given the suggestion that, this would be too, maybe not to build, but certainly to operate, too much to operate given your population base and the level of use that this might generate and other facilities in the area. Now, certain things were suggested as possibilities, like some lit ball diamonds and some pickleball courts and and an indoor turf field. So so when I look at those communities and the things they're being told really not to consider in the next 10 or 15 years, I don't want to be looking at them as something that would necessarily get your taxpayers upset if we were looking at considering providing. And that will direct who we speak to in the next phase in terms of contacting who might be interested in coming to Montaigu to use facilities. So I just want to run that by you to make sure that makes sense to you. Yes, Councillor Carroll?
Just to chip in, we had talked about that too as well, because we know that the two most expensive things are the biggest financial burden on the taxpayers are hockey rinks or rinks in general and pools. And the population base of it's crazy though. Like to have a supporting of a pool, you need to have a population base of like 30,000. I believe it is the number. 25.
Ideally, yeah.
So
ideally.
It's a huge number. And rinks, one thing we're very fortunate of is the two nice rinks that are actually in Smiths Falls. And once again, I think when you do your running of your data too as well, and I've looked at other studies around. For the amount of what our population is, we have the rinks. I don't think we're looking at those type of options just because the need is, the financial feasibility is not there. And a pool's great, but that's going to be like, if that ever comes down the pipe, Carleton Place has it and Perth has it, and we feed into them. And that's where our population has to go. So, anyway, so I think, we're definitely steering clear of, I'm hoping we're not going to get anything towards that, because I think we have to steer clear from that, because there's no financial way that our township can do that.
Yeah, well, in the strategic plan, people said we'd like an indoor pool, but we don't want the township to pay for it. So, that's sort of is an indicator of where people's thinking is. Not that was the whole community, but that was an indicator. Yes, Reeve Dobson. Yes.
Yeah, just to let you know, Mary, and everybody, I think most of us know this, but back maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we were using a pool, a swimming pool, at the Galpo Center. And it was, there was a deal happening for a while there between Smith Falls and the 5 surrounding municipalities, Montague being one of the 5. And at the time, the Galpo Center needed, I believe it was $60,000 from the 6 municipalities. And each municipality was asked if they were interested in putting up their share per capita to use that pool. And I just wanted to point out that Montague was the one out of the 6 that stepped up to the plate right at the beginning, paid their fair share, and we were probably the most supportive of that pool. And I also know that with the numbers per capita, there were more users from Montague Township than any of the other 6, even Smith Falls, which was quite amazing. So, you know, I'm just saying that that pool is still there, and the agreement kind of started falling apart because not all municipalities wanted to pay their fair share. But it was, but certainly Montague did, and the students at Montague School had access, and I believe they were being driven there for classes and so on. So that was a really good thing, I thought. I think our share was $10,000 a year, and that meant that the residents didn't have to pay when they went to use it. So, I mean, whether you thought it was important to have the Galpo Center as a stakeholder, just to simply find out where they were at now and if there's anything could come out of it or not. But it was a pretty easy way for us to have access to a pool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's certainly one that's on the list, actually, to find out what the situation is now with respect to people who don't live there, who don't live on that development coming in to use it, and what the potential is for. Right now, I think it's closed because of COVID, but who knows what the future might hold. So, so are there any questions for us?
No, but I did have 2 other things to maybe just to add. Tennis and squash. Squash is also a kind of I don't know, some seniors and some younger. But tennis, I used to love playing tennis with my grandmother. That was one of my fondest memories, was all 5 of us kids. Like, you know, playing tennis with my grandmother.
Well, squash would be an indoor, definitely. Indoor. Tennis is a possible outdoor activity as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for me. If everyone's okay with closing a bit early, that's fine. And I would, as I said, our next step once we get our the background information together is to go out to the community and the user groups and find out what their interests are and potential use, particularly of user groups that might come to, not just in Montague. Well, I guess most of the user groups are based outside of Montague because people from Montague go to other communities, and also to see, you know, what their potential use of facilities might be, and what some of the other providers in the area their interests might be. And for instance, if we talk to Beckwith and ask them how is their demand, they can't meet with their current indoor soccer facility, those sorts of things. So we get a handle on what the market might be in future for some of this stuff locally. The other thing we want to do is speak to the planning department about population growth, because if there is anticipated to be quite a bit of residential development, we should know a little bit more about that, but that's something we have to, I've talked to Jasmine about that, and we'll speak with the planner shortly. So, and I think that's about it for now.
So what I can
And-
do is I can distribute Mary Catherine's email to the committee, if that's okay. And if you guys have any other comments or anything you want to add, you can always send it directly to her. Is that okay with you, Mary?
Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Well, thank you all for letting us join you tonight. And I will I'll friend the Mountain View Talks on Facebook, and then we can get some information from that source as well. So, okay. Well, good night, everyone, and have a pleasant rest of your evening.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Hi, Mary.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So Jazz,
Yeah.
Kind of hard to leave this meeting, isn't it?
But we're
Do we
still
have to do
going.
any official stuff?
Yeah, we still have a couple items on the agenda.
Yeah.
Just the sound panels, and I just wanted to touch base about some of the upcoming stuff for the Christmas, what we had planned for Christmas. So Brandy, I know we missed a couple of our first opening resolutions. I don't know if you want to go through that.
so the opening of the meeting, the adoption of the agenda and the minutes from the one before. Then we did disclosure of interest.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do the motions for the agenda and the minutes now.
Okay.
That's okay.
So if I could have the adoption of the agenda of the minutes from, where am I? Adoption of the agenda moved by Maggie, second by Melissa, that the committee approve the agenda of the September 29, 2020 as circulated.
So we're going, we'll do the adoption of today's agenda. So we'll need to get a mover and seconder for that.
Okay, so can I get Maggie? And oops. The seconder, sorry. Jeff, okay. Okay.
And then the next resolution is approving the minutes of September 29th.
Okay, so if I can get the minutes of September 29th, do I get a first and a seconder? Katie and Ian.
Who is the mover? Sorry, Katie?
Katie and then Ian.
And then I guess we can touch base on the minutes and then move on to the next items on the agenda.
Okay, so where are we here? Opening delegations, items and consideration. Rosedale Hall, septic, painting, playground.
You're on,
That part?
yeah, that's the minutes from the last meeting there that you're looking at.
Oh, so you only gave me the one thing to download, 4 pages.
Yeah, it was the resolutions
Okay.
and the agenda. The agenda's got the minutes attached to it. So go to the first page.
Not that one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. So the delegation report for consideration, the recreational feasibility study, which we did, and then sound panels.
Yeah. So this is just kind of an informational note to the committee. I did do some research on pricing out some sound panels. For like actual professional sound panels, we're looking probably at they're about $75 for ones that are 24, so 2 feet by 3 feet. 2 feet by 4 feet, sorry, not 3 feet. So they're basic sound panels, but they're professionally done. So the little picture of them, it's not a great picture. So that's just for the wall panels, and then you can get ceiling panels as well that are slightly more. So it'd be about around $100 for a similar size of 2 feet by 4 feet. So not terrible, but we do have a number of them. And I was hoping, I think maybe instead of making a decision on this tonight, I'm going to be looking at some companies that potentially in Ottawa that might be able to give us a free quote on maybe provide some recommendations on locations where the panels would be best suited. Because I think we could probably buy a bunch and put them up, but I don't know if we're going to be able to put them in the ideal spots and to kind of optimize the number. The less we can buy, the more we're going to save. So I did do some research on it, but I'm going to be looking into companies that may be able to come in and give us some feedback on where best to locate the panels. So
the next one, upcoming events.
yeah, so I just wanted to know if, because at the last meeting we talked about doing like the Christmas light tours. So I'm just wanted to make sure the committee is kind of all on board with that, and I can have my staff kind of look into like putting out some oh my goodness, promotional bits, probably like right after Remembrance Day. I think most people don't like to kind of talk Christmas before Remembrance Day. But we can at least say, hey, we're doing this, you know, submit your house, you know, we'd like to put together a tour, and then we hopefully have some participants to report back at the meeting in November. So I just wanted to confirm that the committee is okay with moving that forward.
On game. Okay. Do we have consensus on that? Meg? Yeah. Ian? Jeff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I can definitely do that. That should be pretty easy. So I'll get the admin assistant and myself on. We'll do that. Pretty much we'll release it right after Remembrance Day, just so we can get the message out and keep pushing it out as people start to get really into Christmas. I know it takes some people a little longer to get into it, so.
I hate hanging my lights up in the cold.
Yeah. I know a couple people who are, you know, super enthusiastic about it and like to have them up like sometimes right after Halloween. I am one of those that will not do it until December. So the other item as well, it's a little less relevant to the rec committee, but the township is still participating in the Angel Tree program. So we'll be trying to like push out some similar wording for that as well, because it's going to get a little bit harder to get uptick on people if they can't come in and get like the tags off the tree as well. So try and get them all related to each other.
So Maggie, do you want me to bring this one up that you saw that I had put on my Facebook and you said it was a good idea?
Sure.
Okay. So I had put on Facebook about, you know, how a lot of us will buy needless stuff for Christmas for people and this and that. It was more on thinking outside of the box, like, you know, if you know somebody that needs a helping hand, you know, a grocery card, paying their bill, like whether it's electrical, cable, this and that. I don't have the post in front of me, Maggie, but can you think of anything else that was on that?
Well, the reason I was thinking was we're not having a pancake breakfast. So how much did we allocate for that breakfast? And are we still going to have Vince drive around dressed as Santa?
I haven't, that one's a little difficult to answer. I think what we can do in the meantime is I can reach out to the health unit and see what they recommend.
Okay. Because what I was thinking is if we're not using that money for the pancake breakfast, we're not using it for, and we still have it, can we not do something like maybe give out Christmas baskets? Maybe, I don't know if the firemen are doing their toy drive this year, but maybe we could give the firemen some money to buy the toys, or we could even just take over the Christmas tree and do the presents that the Christmas tree was asking for.
Yeah, we do have the Angel Tree program, which the OPP runs every year. And, you know, it is an excellent program. You know, you buy presents for underprivileged, you know, children. So we do have that already exists. I think we had around $1,000 in funding for events that we have not used. I can double check.
So maybe we could use some of that to do something charitable this Christmas for Montague. I think Christmas baskets would be an excellent idea, especially if we can find somebody that's been off work for the last 6 months and is struggling. I don't know how much the baskets themselves cost, but for the meal, I can't see it costing more than $30 or $40 for a basket, and give them out to needy people.
Or like a turkey dinner basket.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's a couple in Smith Falls, I'm not sure who they are, but we could talk to like the Garden Mart and say, put us together a package with, a 10-pound turkey, some potatoes, whatever. Give us a price, buy some of them, and give them out.
How would what kind of criteria would we use to give them?
I have no idea. I just thought of the idea. You can figure the rest out. Maybe we could ask people to nominate someone that they know has been struggling, or maybe we could talk to the school. Would they know? Or maybe the firemen? I don't know.
Yeah, the school would likely not release any of that information to us.
Dad,
Yeah.
actually last year, I wasn't involved, but I know the ones that were doing the tree at the Holland Town, just on the outskirts, like just as you leave on Highway 15 there, they do the angel, like they do a similar thing, the tree thing every year.
At the Civitan?
When I approached the school last year, they privately got that info, and they gave that child to it was all private, but they did release for me to do that to them.
Okay.
Bill?
Yeah, I was just wondering, just to kind of comment about Maggie's idea, which it's really a nice idea. Like we put out a certain amount of money to help people each year. And as you point out, Maggie, we're not doing that this year. And as Jasmine, as you say, we have approximately $1,000, but it came to mind, like, would we be able to get any suggestions from United Way regarding people in need in Montague? So that's just a question. And the other idea that came to mind, would there be an idea that obviously this is going to come to council, so from the Recreation Committee, but I guess I'm always thinking of big brothers, big sisters, and certainly our council has been pretty supportive of big brothers, big sisters, and we we've done our bowling for them and so on, but we won't be they won't be getting the same amount of help this year as they did in previous years. And I think that they were one of the recipients of a fair amount of money that came from Race the Runway that didn't happen this year. And I'm just throwing that out there as an idea that I just love Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So that might be an idea that we could channel some money. I don't know, but I like the idea coming forward for sure.
I would prefer to give it to a resident of Montague that needs it.
Yeah, well, there's Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I mean, there's little brothers and little sisters from Montague.
Well, maybe they could give us the names.
Maybe, I don't know that. I don't know that.
Ian?
I think that one of the things that we have to really be careful with is that we're kind of an extension of the municipality, right? In a way, and as much as we all want to help people within our township, and we do, we have to be very careful about the criteria or how it is that we go about deciding who gets something and who doesn't. And as sad as that is to say, I want to help people as well as anybody else does, but we have to be very careful in how it is that we go about deciding or getting that information or anything else that people don't feel, that somebody else has gotten something above and beyond what they have. Hopefully that wouldn't happen, but I know that, we always have to kind of keep that in the back of our heads.
Yeah, I see your point.
I could look into some options and maybe bring back some suggestions.
Are the firemen having the toy drive this year?
I can ask. I don't know. Ian, do you know?
I don't know at this present second.
Do you guys want me to bring the information back? Is that good?
Is there a Santa Claus parade in Smith Falls this year?
No,
Hasn't been said yet.
it was canceled last night.
Oh, was it? Mm.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be a very challenging year to try and do so many things to get out and get people with COVID and everything else that's going on. Everything's being canceled, but even going door to door, there's lots of people I've talked about are questioning whether their children are even going to take place in Halloween. So I think that whatever it is that we do, we need to be pretty cognizant of the surroundings.
Yeah, no, they canceled it last night, but they're keeping the celebration of lights or something because it was drive-through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are we?
I don't know if they're going to have a toy parade either.
Are we able to, when we were saying with donation, it would be really, really hard to decipher who. Are we able to maybe find out, like, not necessarily us, but are we able to, if we donate, to have the food costs go just to Montague residents if they're going to the Salvation or any of those, like for food, the food bank?
I can ask. I'm not sure how likely it is, but I really don't know exactly how that would work. Yeah.
Anybody else have any ideas?
Nope, that was mine.
Okay. So do you want to move on then to any unfinished business there, Jazz, or have we kind of covered that too?
That's pretty much it for me.
Oh, I did want to bring up one other thing.
Meg?
It wasn't on the minutes, but last month we spoke about getting one of those free little libraries for Rosedale.
Oh, the box.
All right. Yeah.
Was there any interest in that? Should we, because they only give one a month, so it could be like 6 months before we get one. Somebody else, I did email everybody with the site, I think, where it came from. And somebody said we could probably build our own.
Yeah,
We
probably
won't
be
get put on the map, but we could get one from them. And then if they want to put one up in Adirondack or over by St. Bede's, or I forget where the other recommendations were, there's a couple places to put them. We could do more than one, but this one gets us put on the international map. So is there any interest in going ahead and doing it or not?
I personally like it. Anybody else in agreement?
I think I haven't got a chance to talk to the Smith Falls Library yet because we might have an opportunity just to get a box from them, which is the same function through our library.
Is that take a book, leave a book though, or do they bring the books and
It's a take a book, leave a book.
that'd work?
I think if we were to do one, we should at least do two and definitely maybe think about Adirondack just to make sure that they don't think that we're forgetting about them.
Mhm.
All right, I guess anything else?
Oh, anything more on the calendar?
I've talked to the consultants and a number of our staff about it, so I think everyone's on board with getting that put together. We just have to make sure that we're timing it right in terms of mail out with the taxes and how long our current calendar goes. So it might not be like a calendar year calendar.
Right. We should ask people for pictures,
Yes.
submit pictures.
I think that was it. Jazz, do you have anything else you want to discuss before we adjourn?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so I guess it's 7:41 on Tuesday, October 27th. Do I have that we will adjourn? Do I have a mover? Maggie, seconder? Nobody wants to leave. Jeff wants to leave.
We do have the one resolution that I sent to you before we adjourn there, that the Recreation Committee confirm all of the direction as agreed in the meeting of October 27th and forward that direction to council for approval. So do you want to get a mover and seconder for that one?
Katie, seconder? Jeff, anybody? Jeff.
I got Maggie there.
Yeah, Maggie, okay, sorry.
So, all in favor?
All in favor?
Great.
All right. So we're good to adjourn?
So yeah, when you
So-
need a mover and seconder to adjourn.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? I think that was,
We did that.
No, to adjourn. Oh, it was for Maggie and a seconder.
It was Jeff, I think.
Jeff,
And then all in favor?
all in favor.
And my Christmas lights have been up since last Christmas. I just gotta plug them in.
Nice. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank
good
you.
night, everybody. Good night.
Right.
Night, Jazz.